It's kind of it's kind of mixed. It's kind of mixed. I really thought that I could get us to Omaha this year. That was you write down. You always make goals. You always make a 5-year plan, a 10-year plan, and I was hoping to get to Omaha this year. And so yeah, I'm a little disappointed in that. But the good thing is that more today than I ever have been since I've been here is I know it can happen. And I'm probably more confident about it now than I ever was. And, you know, I've got to stand. UCLA is #2 team in the country. And we've played a lot of #1 teams in the country and beat them over the last 5 years. And so that's what we can do. We can get this done. There's a lot of kids on a lot of those teams that we missed out on recruiting. So some of those things that help you get those kids to change their mind and come to UNM are some of the things I've got to fix, get straightened out, hopefully as time goes on. But the University of New Mexico baseball program is one of the best in the country. And you know that, and I know that, and the whole country knows that.
What about the guys coming back? You anticipate any of guys getting taken in the draft and leaving?
If I had all the guys on one team that pro ball has taken from me, either that I recruited or that were here and they took them early, then we'd be going to Omaha right now. You know, pro baseball is probably the biggest challenge for me in a lot of ways. Pro baseball is in a business, and every kid wants to be a major leaguer. So when they come knocking, those guys usually take the offer and leave.
Are you surprised to know have been taken through 7 rounds?
Pardon me?
Did you think any of them would be taken through the first 7 rounds? Are you surprised none of them have gone yet?
You know what? No, you don't know. Because to be honest with you, Mitchell Garver just got on the radar this year. And as of April, I've been doing this 34 years in the great state of New Mexico. And as of April, I noticed that I hadn't been getting a lot of calls from pros about Mitchell Garver. So I got on the phone and, you know, and started making some phone calls and go, what are you guys watching? Because you're not watching the right things. But I'm calling guys my age who are scouting directors and not scouts. So after a week of phone calls, I'm trying to help my kid, and things start happening. So I don't know where Mitchell will go, but he's a top 5 round draft pick in my books. But you have to be on the radar a little bit sooner because those guys aren't quite confident. They need to see it and pay more attention to it over a period of time. So if Mitchell leaves, I've got done what I wanted to get done for Mitchell Garver. If Mitchell stays, I think he ups his position in the draft. Same there, same story. You got to remember, these are 2 New Mexico kids who 10, 12, 13 years ago were over at Altamont Little League arguing over, you better throw what I call or I'm going to throw what I want to. You know, they played together. So they're at this moment in time, which I think is really cool, which I think many New Mexico boys can do. So this is a good thing. This is a great thing. I'm not sweating it. I'm not worried about it. You know, when Mitchell came in here, Rafael Nato was here. He was an All-American catcher. And I told Mitchell at that time, you're going to be better than he is. And he looked at me like, really? Yeah. And he is. He is. And there's another New Mexico boy somewhere in this state that will do the same thing.
Coach, what about the Golden Spikes Award? DJ gets that. What does it do for your program? What does it do if he and Mitchell both national awards?
Well, that's what I want. That's what I want to prove. You know, the University of New Mexico is as good as anybody anywhere. This athletic program's got like 13 championships this year. It's a big deal. That's a huge deal, isn't it? I think that's pretty cool. Way to go, Paul Krebs. You know, that's pretty awesome. But that's part of the pride that we're trying to build here is state pride. Hey, you know what? Lobos are coming your way. You better batten down the hatches because you don't mess around with them. They're going to get you. So Mitchell winning the Johnny Bench and DJ winning, which is the Heisman Trophy award, you know, for college baseball, that's a big award. Both of them would be outstanding. It'd be a great achievement by a great university
No announcement just today.
and two great young men, huh?
On the Golden Spikes, when is that one?
I think that's still a couple weeks away. Yeah, and they do it. They do it all at Omaha. Super regionals are this weekend.
Which, a couple other guys who could go, Woodchick and Melendez.
I don't know that Woodchick will hopefully be a senior sign. Of course, you know, these guys all played with injuries all year long. People don't know there were 7 guys on the field that were still fighting injuries when we finished the last game. They played through it. So I think Ben has a shot. I think Trey Porras has a shot. He's really improved as a baseball player, and he can hit anybody in the country. You know, Josh Melendez has a shot, but you know, it just depends on what they want to do. It depends on what's important for them. We're in the kid business. It isn't about me. It isn't. The program's important, but kids are more important. Getting them what they need, getting them an education, give them an opportunity to play the sport they love professionally. That's what I'm about. That's what we're about. And that's what UNM's about.
Were there any of those guys that you see had maybe the biggest upside if they happen to go, or that you would like to see stay another year rather than go to the
The reason I want them to stay another year is a little selfish, yeah, because I love them. They're awesome people. They'll make it's easier for me. But I'm a coach, so I'll coach somebody else up. So, but Josh Melendez is all of them are. Mitchell is too. Austin is too. Very serious students. They have other careers in mind besides pro baseball. Pro baseball obviously is the #1 priority, but they're students. They want to go on and be a physical therapist. One of them wants to be a doctor. You know, those things are still in their forefront, and they know that if they stay another year, they still work 1 year closer to education, 1 more year to prove up that they're better than whatever round they went in, and up their status in the draft, and 1 more year to be a great Lobo.
Do you anticipate anybody from this incoming class maybe?
Yeah, this team that just played in L.A., people don't realize that we lost one of the top hitters in California to the Astros in the summer, a 6'6", 250-pound first baseman named Wallace Gonzalez. Gone in a little bit after this time, in July actually. And then you know, we lost a kid, #1 junior college, Maltos Garcia from Colorado. He never lost a game in junior college, and he was going to be our #1. Cubs snagged him, and we lost a kid from Arizona that's in AA right now, in the starting rotation in AA. So, yeah, you know, right now is just time. You know, all your hard work and all the things that you've done can start all over again. Yeah, Major League Baseball.
How frustrating is that for you? When
You know, it's not frustrating for me because I've been doing this a long time, so it's a reality to me, and I expect them, you know, to go. Tons of them, but there's a lot of drafted players. It tells us that we're chasing the right kids, and we have to take those risks. I mean, we could wipe out an entire infield and half our pitching staff in one draft. That's how vulnerable we are at the draft. They could all say, no, I'm signing 1 through 50. And you go, okay, well, we better go out on the campus and see if anybody can replace them.
Coach, it sounds like a higher level of a recruit. So can you talk a little about the program from a national perspective? Because I know when you took over the job, you know, you were probably making a lot more phone calls than maybe you were receiving. And I'm wondering if that's changed a little bit now with 3 straight NCAAs and everything you've done, to where the interest in the program has grown from more national scope.
Well, I'm one of those crazy guys that, you know, I don't care if it's Arkansas or LSU or Florida. I don't care. I'll go in the kid's house and tell him we're as good as they are. He might giggle, but now he's not giggling. So when I came here, they recruited year by year. So they were out chasing seniors for the next year. And now we recruit all the way down. We're trying to get commitments from kids, and it's a commitment world now. And so we're trying to get commitments from kids that are sophomores and 9th graders and whoever. You know, we can see it coming, and so we want you to be a Lobo. We'll see if we can get that done. We try to chase way down the. We're ahead of the curve by a long ways in recruiting. So, and the caliber of kid we're recruiting is a lot bigger. Yeah, the guys we're recruiting are going to be a big draft pick or are going to be a good draft pick, and we're beating out. We're trying to fight with Arkansas and Texas and LSU and UCLA and those people. I saw a kid last night on TV that went to the University of Mississippi, and he was down to UNM in Mississippi at that point in time. He's their best player, and he would have been, one of the guys in our lineup. I don't know that he would have been our best player, but he would have been one of them.
So you found, though, that basically you're on these kids' radar now. I mean, they know now about New Mexico, where you're not going in to just say, hey, we're New Mexico, blah, blah, blah. They know now this is doing
No, nobody giggles. They know that if you go to UNM, you got a chance to be a high draft pick, and you got a chance to go to Omaha. Those are real, and we've proven that. And so we're a program. And are we where I want to be as a program? No, we're not even close. But we're working towards that. I tried to accelerate it in 5 years, and I don't know if that's realistic or not, but I think we can get there. I think we can get it done. I think we can show up in Omaha, but it's all about pitching. It's all about pitching. That guy said, well, your bats went dead. Yeah, because that guy was throwing 97. Good pitching stops good hitting, always. Baseball's not going to change. So to get there, you got to pitch. And so we did that this year with a pitching staff that had the lowest ERA since 77. Who was born in 77?
Coach, you had pitching, defense, and hitting, you had everything this year. What do you want to see improve as you look at next year? What do you want to add to the mix?
I want our pitching to get even better. I mean, our pitching right now, the University of New Mexico is above 89 to 90% of the teams in the country. That top 10% is where I want to get, and that top 10% is pitching. It's pitching. Our position players are as good as anybody's position players. Our shortstop, our second baseman, our first baseman, obviously our third baseman, and our catcher are two of the top players in the country. How about that? Yeah, and that's a big deal. That's a huge deal, and we can continue that. We can continue that, but we've got to continue to get better on the mound. And our ERA was 4.53 somewhere in there, and I want our ERA to be 2 as a team. That's crazy, right? When we go somewhere, people say, "Well, look at those batting averages. Those are crazy. There's no way you have those batting averages." And so DJ Peterson got asked that question in one of the post-game interviews, and he said, well, why don't you come to Albuquerque and find out, pal? And that's right. I mean, you go to some places, and it doesn't carry here in February. It doesn't carry here in March. It doesn't carry here in April. Now, May it carries. Yeah, in May it carries. I get that. But most of the season it doesn't carry. And so those batting averages are a result of playing a lot of places. But you go to UCLA, it didn't carry at all. DJ would have had 4 home runs had he been in our yard. But at UCLA, it doesn't carry. When you get close to the ocean, at night it dies out. It doesn't go anywhere. And you go to TCU, the wind blows in 30 miles an hour. So those things aren't inflated. They're not superficial. They're real. But people can't believe it. But at the same time, they won't come out here and see us. Ask Steve Alford.